This town's so lame, I'm feeling so wired. It's 4 a.m., I'm not even tired. We're in your car, we can drive away. Oh yeah.
This keto bread is actually made with pork rinds, well, a little bit of pork rinds and vital wheat gluten. If you are allergic to gluten or you're gluten-free, this is probably not going to be the recipe for you, but we have an entire playlist of bread recipes available to you. And if you're interested in another bread, click on this link now. This recipe is actually an adaptation of a very old bread recipe of mine. The recipe is actually here and it uses almond flour and chia seeds in place of the pork rinds. So if pork rinds is not your thing, it's okay, use that recipe. The nutritional information and your shopping list is listed in the description box, and let's get into this recipe now. Regarding equipment, you're gonna need something to bake with. You can either use your air fryer or your oven, and we are gonna be mixing the dough for about 7 minutes, so a hand whisk is not going to really work because the dough clumps up. It's really firm dough. So you're gonna need a food processor or at least a mixing machine. Aside from that, I'm gonna be using a Pullman loaf pan. It's a really good pan for keto bread. A lot of my subscribers actually have this pan because I've shown the results. It comes with the lid and it really just contains the bread. It doesn't lose its shape. If you don't have a Pullman loaf, this bread bakes really, really well without the loaf. You can use a greased bowl to proof your bread and bake it on a baking tray that is lined. I have 180 grams of warm water here. It's about 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit. And to that, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon or about 6 grams of honey. Now, you might say that, oh, you know, honey is kind of like a natural sugar. It is, but we need the yeast to feed off something. You won't ingest it. And also, a lot of people don't actually know you're allowed up to 50 grams of sugars on the keto diet per day. Okay, we're adding 8 grams of instant dried yeast, and we're gonna mix that all together. Cover and let that sit for about 20 minutes until your yeast mixture is nice and frothy. While we're waiting for the yeast mixture, let's prepare the rest of the ingredients. I have here 150 grams of vital wheat gluten. You can see mine is a heaping cup, so it's best to kind of measure by grams. 60 grams of pork rinds that have been ground and sifted. I'll grab that. 3 tablespoons or 30 grams of beef powdered gelatin. This is just gonna help bind everything together. Mix that together so it's one color and consistency. I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons of powdered sweetener, and that's to improve the taste so it doesn't taste so much like pork rinds. Also, I'm not adding any salt. That's because pork rinds are kind of slightly salty. And a lot of people ask me what's powdered sweetener, but I just buy the Canto Monk Fruit Classic and then I grind it down in my blender. That's all it is. Okay, now we mix it all together. I don't know if you can see this, but my yeast is almost ready. So I'm going to add the rest of the wet ingredients. 2 eggs. And this is 30 grams of melted butter that has been cooled. Okay, my yeast mixture is looking really good. Going to add that. And now just mix that all together. At this stage, you're just mixing the dough so that you can add it to your mixing machine or food processor. And now you're going to mix your dough in your machine for about 7 minutes. Oh well, guess what? My food processor just broke, so I'm going to be switching to a mixing machine. I've done it with both machines. They both work really well. And you can actually use your pedal attachment or a dough hook. Doesn't matter, as long as it mixes. Now, I just wanted to show you the dough after about 3 minutes. You can see it's still quite wet and it's grabbing onto the bowl. And then I want to show you after 7 minutes, the dough really improves. Now look at this bowl. You can see that it's less sticky and not so wet, and it's quite glutinous and stretchy. That's the difference, and that's why you need to mix it for 7 minutes. Whatever you are proofing your bread in, please note that that is the shape it's going to take. If you're going to use a round bowl like this, do note you're going to get a round loaf, and you can sort of pretend that you're having sourdough. I have greased my loaf pan already. Now look at this dough. It's sticking together. It's not falling apart. It's not a runny batter. It's proper dough. You can make bagels. If you want to make challah bread with it, you can, although you know, it is not kosher because we are making it with pork rinds. But I'm just going to place this into my pan and kind of stretch it into the corners. Okay, it's not looking like anything much at the moment, but this bread rises so good. I'm going to close my pan. I have my oven going. It's not even set to a heat or temperature. I just have the oven light and the fan going. You want to let your bread proof in your oven for at least 2 hours.
2 hours later.
Now, see how this bread has tripled in size. Once your bread has proofed, preheat your oven now to 356 Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius, and check your loaf. Of course, it's not cooked, right? But if you want a smooth crust, you might want to tidy it up. My bread has been baking for 40 minutes. I did take a little peek. It's looking so good. Let me show you. Look at this. Just look how bouncy it is. I'm gonna let it cool and then we're gonna inspect the inside. Okay, my bread is actually cool. Fun fact, it's actually the next day from when I made it, and I was surprised to find out how easily the bread is removed from the pan without any paper. Let's now take a look at the inside of this bread. I am pretty confident it's going to be really good, but look, it's really soft and bouncy. Makes a good sound. Wow. Ah. Wow, look how flexible this bread. I'm literally making it do acrobatics and it still turns out so fantastic. It's really stretchy and yeah, beautifully soft. Okay, breaking the bread out in front of you just so you can get another kind of sense of the texture, and I want to do a taste test as well. Oh, come on. There's no taste to it. It doesn't taste of pork rinds because we added that sweetener. In fact, if you've tasted a bread with vital wheat gluten before, it's actually really similar. It just tastes like tasteless bread. Well, I hope you get to make this really fun recipe. It's kind of easy for a yeasted bread and it turns out so good. And I hope all my tips and tricks will help you out when you're making yours. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and be well.
We're all